Buongiorno, welcome back to La Cucina di Roberto. I'm your host, Roberto. As a medical doctor, I discuss diet with my patients at every visit. One of the things that I highly recommend that people eat is what's called fermented vegetables, fermented foods in general. What these are is foods that many cultures eat. It has food that has natural probiotics in it. You could take a probiotic as a pill, but all your nutrients should always come from your food. This is live culture in it. This is true probiotic. Many probiotics, when they get in your stomach, they get destroyed by the stomach acid. This is natural food, and most of the bacteria in our bodies are in the intestines, are in the colon. So you want a healthy growth of bacteria there. They call this the microbiome. They're just coming to realize how important this is for heart disease, autoimmune disease, diabetes, like everything's related to this. So you need to have these healthy bacteria. If you're not eating a healthy diet, if you're eating a lot of processed food, you're eating a lot of sugar, you're going to get the wrong bacteria. It's like the bad guys are moving into your neighborhood and they're going to make you sick. So you want healthy bacteria, and we need these bacteria because they serve a very important role. They help make vitamins, they help digest food, and they keep our system functioning properly. Bad bacteria, they'll make you sick. The healthy, normal bacteria are going to make you healthy. You'll also find that people take a lot of antibiotics, develop this intestinal problems, and it's due to the normal flora, the normal bacteria that live there are all killed off by antibiotics. That's why one has to be careful about taking antibiotics. And I do recommend taking probiotics with it. This is even better. Myself, if I've ever had to take antibiotics, I add these foods to my diet. I eat even more of it. So this is a product called, these are carrots and ginger. These are vegetables. These are all organic. These are full of probiotics. You have to investigate everything you eat. That's what I do. I investigate everything. This brand is a very good brand. It's non-pasteurized. Pasteurized means they heat up the food during the process to increase your shelf life. If you heat this up, you're going to kill all the good bacteria that are in it. Then you're just wasting your time, wasting your money. You're not getting anywhere. So this company is called Hawthorne Valley. I've evaluated it. I've spoken to them on the phone. It is a non-pasteurized product. It is organic. It is lacto-fermented, which means it has these healthy bacteria in it. When you open up this bottle, it's going to have a little smell. Once you open up this bottle and keep it in your refrigerator, it can go bad. So you want to eat it within a week. It gives you an expiration date on here, but I wouldn't let this sitting around too long. The other thing about this is that you should eat this on a daily basis so you have these healthy bacteria in your system. You actually get addicted to this. Your body needs this. So if you open this up, it's going to have a little odor to it. I have a bottle open here. I'm going to put this away. This has to stay refrigerated at all times. The first time I opened this bottle in my office, my staff wanted to know what that odor was. Well, it does have a little strong odor. I'm used to it now. What we do with this is we're going to put this in our little plate here. I'm just going to put it there. If it's too strong to eat by yourself, if you can't tolerate it, let's put this back in our refrigerator. What I suggest you do is eat it with a little bit of tomato and a little bit of parsley, and you can even put some pepper in there. Let's put our gloves on, and we're going to prep this for you. Now, tomatoes are what we call nightshade vegetables. These can cause a lot of inflammation. They can be very hard to digest. I love tomatoes. I'm not giving them up. So I take my little cherry tomatoes like this. And the other point is these have a lot of pesticides on it. So these are washed and cleaned before I use them. My wife washes these at home with a little bit of soap. And we're going to talk about that on one of our episodes and really how to clean your vegetables. So I squeeze out the pits in there and the seeds because they're not good for you. Okay, I'm 62 years old. You get intestinal problems as you get older. You don't want these seeds in your system. And there's a lot of reasons why you don't want seeds in your body. And we'll go with that into later episodes, but they can set off disease like diverticulitis. It can make your digestion even more difficult. And there's a very specific reason why you don't eat seeds, because seeds have these natural chemicals in it. We call them lectins. And lectins are special chemicals that the plant naturally has in them to prevent the seeds from being overconsumed by animals. Because if the seeds are gone, then the plant can't reproduce. So it's almost like a natural pesticide. But like any other pesticide, it can have an adverse effect. So we take our little tomatoes like this. We squeeze out all the seeds. So I had my wife prep these the other night, and she's individually picking this out with a fork. I said, sweetheart, just take them and squeeze them. It goes much quicker. So I hope she listened to me. Then what I do is I chop them up into smaller pieces. If you've ever eaten a tomato, these are very hard to digest. The skin on the outside is very tough. So I chop them up like this. Then what I like to do is I'll put this in a fry pan with a little bit of water. Keep the seeds out of there. We'll put a little water in there, and we're going to put in a little bit of olive oil. By cooking this with water in it and a little bit of olive oil, it won't burn. If you just cook this with the olive oil, it's going to burn, and you don't want to eat burned food, and not very nice. We have some here that were prepped before. These are all ready to go. So we're going to add that to our fermented vegetable. This is specifically carrots and ginger. There's other forms of this company sell. One called kimchi, which is a Korean vegetable, has a lot of garlic in it. Obviously, I can't eat that during the day. I'm seeing patients. They have another one that's a sauerkraut. Some have seeds and some don't. Other forms of fermented foods are things like yogurt, kefir, and the Japanese eat a form called natto, which is a fermented soy product. It has a very strong odor. You might not like it. Strong smelling things, something like Limburger cheese, people don't like the smell. Those are fermented bacteria. Those are actually healthy for you, but I don't eat a lot of cheese, and I don't recommend a lot of dairy products. So we're going to add that to our fermented vegetables. The other thing that goes along very nicely with this, I'll put this right here so you can see it. Actually, I make enough so I have it for a couple days. The other thing you could do with this, you could add this to your salad. Rather than eating fresh tomatoes, as I said, it's hard to digest them. They have a thick skin on them. You get rid of the seeds. You boil this with a little bit of water, a little bit of olive oil. It takes about 3 minutes till the water dissolves. And it's much easier to digest. Tomatoes are a family of vegetables called nightshade vegetables, along with potatoes, eggplants, peppers, goji berries. There are many vegetables that fit into this, and they're very hard to digest, and it's believed they set off inflammation. A lot of athletes don't eat this, nightshade vegetables, because there are so many injuries and they don't want inflammation. What is really inflammation? Well, if you ever sprained your ankle and it got swollen, that's inflammation. That process goes on in other parts of your body at a very low level, and it makes you sick. We're learning that this inflammation process causes a lot of medical problems, and it's the foundation of a lot of medical diseases. So you don't want inflammation. You don't want food that causes inflammation. We're going to chop up our parsley, our green parsley. As I said, anyone that's on a blood thinner like Coumadin, you have to be careful of parsley. It's a green leafy vegetable. And also our fermented vegetables have a lot of vitamin K in it. So people on Coumadin probably should avoid this. Let's add that to our dish there. This is actually, I make this sometimes like this. Sometimes I'll eat it plain. I've served this to friends. Some like it plain, some want it with the tomatoes in it. It actually looks much nicer because you have the red, you have the orange, you have the green. And on top of that, let's put a little bit of our very delicious pepper. That's always nice to have along. That's our delicious olive oil. We talked about that in previous shows. I'm going to have a little taste now. I'm used to eating this, and I eat it every day. To me, it's delicious. You can taste the ginger. Has a sharp taste. And parsley is good. And tomatoes taste good on everything. Those are our fermented vegetables. I'm going to digest this for a minute. As I said, our nutritional program is simple, it's delicious, and it's nutritious. I try to keep it as simple as possible. There's few ingredients. I found one product that works. I like it. I never got sick off of it. I've tried other brands. I still think this one's the best. It tastes better. I get this at Whole Foods. Many organic food stores carry it. Hawthorne Valley is the name of the company. And this is all organic, full of probiotics. As I said in the previous episodes, we have no sponsor for this program. These are foods that I've tested myself, that I use, that I like, that I find are healthy for me. You could try these at home. I would eat a small amount of this to start because it takes a while to get used to it. And then eventually, I would say I eat about maybe 2 bottles a week of this, sometimes 3 bottles a week. This will help your bowel function. People with problems with their bowels, this is absolutely going to help you. It's critical to your diet. Everybody should be eating this. This would eliminate a lot of health problems. So that's our fermented vegetables. That's the end of today's show. I'm glad you watched. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit humorous. It's a little interesting. It's delicious food. It's going to make you healthy. You'll live longer. You'll live better. If you're in your 50s and you're intending to live a long time, start getting healthy now. This is just part of the program. We're talking about the food because the food is one of the most critical aspects. Exercise, moderate exercise is very important. Eliminating bad habits, getting adequate rest, sleep, and we'll talk about these in future episodes. Stress reduction, and of course, limiting your toxins exposure, and we'll have very simple things that you could do to help yourself. And the last is, of course, seeing your doctor for general medical care, preventative care. That's your vaccines, that's getting tested for strokes and heart attacks. This is all preventative medicine, so you don't want to be sick. You could actually avoid most illnesses. I read in a recent cancer journal, they said probably 40% of cancers could be avoided, and much of it has to do with diet. So probably the number is much higher than that. So if you want to stay healthy, it starts with your diet. Remember what Hippocrates, the father of medicine, would say, that let your food be your medicine. So after 2,000 years, I think we should start listening. I hope you enjoyed today's segment. I hope you learned something, and I hope you get healthy. Thank you for watching. Ciao.
I see trees of green, red